curtain marathon of the day. Can we make a curtain in one day?
Don't get cocky now.
I mean, it's to the millimetre. Let me tell you what we're going to use the spoon for. This is impossible to do. Where's yours? I don't know. But I've jumped in this room to make my own project. He's busy outside on his retention wall. Check the link, it's really interesting. As usual, didn't go as planned. Anyway, I started having a go at making some curtains. Calculating your fabric is something else, especially when you're doing decorative and fancy pleats, darling. Making my 3 different windows, because there's a small, a medium and a large, of course there is, and a random wide dining window with no wall on the other side. How grand you want your pleats is your desire and the room's desire. These pleats are about 15 centimetres. 15 centimetres, 15 centimetres to make your pleat. 15 centimetres, 15 centimetres. So not starting from there, the draft, your returns plus your spacers, right? This should be your window width, what you want the fabric to cover. Then you need to add on your panels, which will concertina to give you enough fabric to make your pleats. They say 4 pleats per panel. I've got 3 panels here, 2 panels there, 4 panels over there. Where's the seam? Where's the pattern? You can't have your seam on your pleat. What I would suggest is get an old bed sheet and find out how much fabric you need. I have worked generally starting on 2 times the fabric, then how the panels will fit, then how much oomph I want in my pleats. The reality of a project like this is finding a space big enough, but that can also be kept clean enough for the duration of the project. It's not a project you can lay out, pack away, lay out, pack away. We've decided to film this smaller window because hopefully maneuvering this size of material around, you'll actually be able to see what I have done. Because I have done 2 floor length, but it's maneuvering over 3 meters, 4 panels of 3 meter material. You can't tell what I'm doing. The first length and then the second length, we need to match the pattern before we cut it. Now, I've already measured that this window needs a drop and hem allowance of about 172. There's no way to know if the fabric is cut straight. You can check by eye, but handy when you've got a pattern. So I'm just going to check this 3rd leaf on each one to see how straight my last cut was. My mum always told me, think twice, cut once, think 4 times, cut once, and I still won't get it right. To match this print right on.
In the continent, in Europe, you can buy 3 meters wide rolls that you just do the top and the bottom and then you cut it to size. But here we had to do something more than that. Why?
So what's the length that you get in the continent?
Length, you mean from top to bottom?
Yeah.
From top to bottom is 3 meters.
So you can buy them 3 meters squared?
3 meters by as many meters as you want. 20, 100 meters.
That's just not found in the UK. Maybe it is, maybe I don't know about it, but I couldn't find any fabric. You can only buy 1 meter, 1.4 meters. That's generic width, and you have to make your panels, which is all part of the challenge, but so unnecessary. It's one of the hardest parts of the challenge. Other panels, I've just been able to go, yep, good, yep, good. So as you can see, we've got excess length because the pattern is repeating every 33 centimeters. These 2 panels are a little bit simpler than the other panels that I have used because we're matching it right at the seam. Make sure they're both going upwards. Once they're lying flush on top of each other, now we're going to try and align our print. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is going to be the first one up. 1, 2, 3. Let's have a look. What do you think? Yep.
Yep.
Secure it with a pin. This is just to get the fabric aligned. Do that all the way down. Here's the next one down. Flip it over, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Where are we? Yes. Zhuzh it a little bit. 1, 2, 3. And then you should be able to just follow the fabric. It is easier to show you with a cut-off. I've actually decided to do French seams to join my panels together. French seams is normally used for very, very delicate material to help with the fraying. French seams on the curtain are neat and strong. So what you see is you sew the right edge first. Can you see it inside? Mm-hmm. Chop off the raw edge, encase it, seam it, so all your raw edge is inside, and then when you open it to the right side, how lovely is that? The pattern is totally aligned on 2 sides. I just need to create space to do my first seam of the French seam. Now I can lift this piece of fabric and they're going to stay aligned. So thanks to my surprise gift of a sewing machine one Christmas from Mum and Dad, let the fun begin. You can actually see I have a lovely ivory for the thread that could be seen, and I'm just for the inner seams, I'm just using a white thread. So changing that over, don't forget to change your bobbin over as well. Making curtains, you're changing a stitch quite a lot. You're going from a blind stitch to a zigzag to a straight stitch. So a tip here is keep your settings written down so you could just pop the tension back in, the stitch and the stretch each time. You don't have to use a spare material to test it out first. This is the first seam of the French seam, so this is just a straight stitch. Now we've got our first seam done for the French seam. I just need to cut off the excess and what's going to be folded inside. Flip the 2 panels, check that they are growing the same way. Okay, flip it. So there's the back of our French seam. Now what we need to do is just manipulate this seam, massage it to be as open as possible without, if you massage it too much, you're going to open the frays inside. So that has reduced the bulk and made that ready to run that on the machine. Open it out and you're done. We are closing our French seam before we open it. Because I did the pattern right on the edge, when we open it, the pattern will be a little bit crisscrossed, but it's still going to have the flow. Look at this cute little find. So it's actually a magnet that when you're right in between your measurements that are already given on your plate, you can hem assist. But this is an ideal time to use those clamps. Just as a tip, so straight stitch again, all the way down, top and bottom. We're going to try and keep the material as we pull it through flat on either side so it's not pulled. Always clip the top of your seams, just forward and then back. Each stitch you do, you might not be able to go back and forth, but if you do go back over it, it won't unravel. I went wrong. Went wrong. I get nervous at this point. We're going to open the French seam. So this shows if I was successful with the pattern and if I was successful with sealing all the raw edges inside. As you can see, we open it to the right side. The seam is going to be inside. Oh, already I can see I messed up.
Did you mess up?
I'll show you. And also your print is coming across. So I'll tell you what the mess up is. That's what can happen on your French seam. If you don't cut close enough with your pinking shears or you don't sew deep enough. I will just trim that off. But that actually, luckily, is going to be on the Buckram. Let's have a look further down. And I didn't want it too bulky. There's your French seam of your 2 panels. I'll show you upside down. Yay! Now, every time you do a seam or a hem, what must you do?
I don't know.
Pass it through the iron.
Oh.
It almost fuses the cotton to the seam. It keeps it neat, strong, and takes away the bulk. It's choosing its own side to lie. So I do follow that. So I'm going to have the seam on this side and I'm going to open this bit all the way. Back on the floor, down to the floor, we're going to do the header. So we're going to pop the buckram in the top. Bit of a big segment, this one. Let's go. First, we're going to level it off. Then we're going to have 1 centimetre for the raw edge to fold under to draw the line where the buckram is going to go.
Right, Kat, here's a good question for you. Why are we doing this ourselves?
We like to, we want to, but also we're realistically working on a budget. Looked into fabric. If we did made to measure, so we could choose a fabric because we really wanted it to match our complex murals. So we weren't, yes, you can go to certain shops and buy curtains for 50 quid, 60 quid. Job done. Amazing. Eyelets. We didn't want eyelets. We wanted something a little bit more made to measure, including your fabric. 1 window, £600. We've got 1 window, 2 floor length double window. We were looking at like £2,000 for curtains. Remember how much I found this fabric for?
No, I don't.
£600. So you can't compare. You have to do it yourself.
So we saved ourselves £1,400, give or take. That's why we're doing DIYing in a realistic way.
Yeah. Yoda, let me tell you something while you're here. I can't sew, but I've had to in my life. So being a professional dancer, no seamstresses with you. You've got 3 shows a night, sometimes to audiences of 3,000 people a pop. And what if your first show, your heel gets stuck in your hem, your zipper breaks, your wig falls off? You have to fix them for the second show, for the third show, and for the following 8 months. So I had to pick up sewing along the way because the show must go on. You've got to get back on stage and your costume can't fall off. But I never did courses, and I've been inspired by my mum and my grandmas, my mum making my own dance costumes when I was 3 years old and my very first tutu. So I was always inspired, and if they could do it, I could do it. Do you know where this pink tailor's chalk came from?
No.
My mummy's sewing box. And do you know what this pink tailor's chalk was used for in the past? Tiny bit left. My mum made my dance costumes with this tailor's chalk. In all my sewing boxes history, there's things from my mum, there's things from both my grandmas. The little pin cushion that's a hat was my grandma. So yeah, family affair these curtains are. Something else realistic DIY doesn't have is a serger. Do you know what a serger is? It's one of those additional sewing machines that has about 4 reels. And do you know what it does? It closes all your raw edges. You've seen me do the pinking shears on the French seam. When you don't have a serger, one of the other options, just to help your fabric not fray, is do a simple zigzag. Now we're going to follow this pink line and press, ready to fit the buckram in. So take that underneath, press it, go to get the next bit, pink line. The buckram is going to fill that bit. Pink line, fold it. This may be an unnecessary step for very experienced people, but for me, I'm just going to cut at 140. I can straighten it off afterwards, and we have 2 panels. So let's do that again. I feel like I'm in a shop. 12p per metre? How many metres, Mom? John Lewis, when there used to be a haberdashery. Don't know if they still are.
What?
Haberdashery. Haberdashery is a great word. Haberdashery is stores or shops that sell all sorts of sewing things, crafts and sewing. Now, whilst you're over here, this is fusible, and I think you're in a very good light for me to show you. Can you see that? Oh, I thought
yeah.
a gritty, shiny side. So that's a slight adhesive. This side, smooth. Almost looks like linen on this side. Not all buckrams are fusible. I chose fusible. Put the fusible side not on the header, it's on the back side. A good tip is to start from the center out, just because you can control keeping it on the level a little bit better than working from a free side. Now, remember what I said about front and back? Fusible side up, notice in the end, that is the front side. Let me show you. So that folds over, and when you pick the curtain up, there's your front side. Not only is the fusible side facing the back, facing the heat. Using something fusible, it's more advised to press, use a bit of steam, careful with my fingers, but try not to, this was already fused, so I'm going to demonstrate on this side. Try not to drag around, because where it's going to fuse is going to have a crease. So that's a brilliant tip to take away with you.
And you're awesome for saying it.
Yeah. And then with the buckram, push up into that, because if the buckram comes down, you're going to have this spare bit of material, which when it is hanging, you don't want anything loose here. This has to be solid. Pushed right up so that it's tight. What I want to do now is the side hems. They are going to be wonderwebbed. So look at the size of the wonderweb. Look at the size of the ruler. There's our raw edge, zigzagged, and will be pressed over. And then I'm going to press this. That's where the wonderweb is going to go. So preparing my press line. And actually, if you come with me, I'll show you what it's going to be. It's going to be the side with an invisible stitch on the blind stitch. So you see that ruler width? And inside there is wonderweb. Makes it nice and strong and secures my stitching. Time for magic wonderweb. Unlike the buckram, you actually have to put a damp cloth on top. So like this one, make sure it's either going to be the similar colour or one you're not too bothered about, and one where the colour is not going to run. Fold it over. What I tend to do to help myself, hold that there. Do not iron on these or you will have cake decorations all over your... The reason why I put these in is you're not going to be able to see what you're doing once you've put the damp cloth on top. I'm like a magician's assistant. Stuck. I am making a mental note where those plastic heads are. So I can see one, can see the other. Again, press, don't wiggle. Press.
Steam or no steam?
And let it melt. And I do throughout this use quite a bit of steam on and off the damp cloth. Between the balls, if you're not confident in your sewing skills and you want a little bit of extra support, this is amazing stuff, and it's cheap. Wonderweb is something I've used all my life because I didn't have a sewing machine all my life. So sometimes if I wanted to take up my jeans, oh, notice I'm just pressing, I've lifted it, I'm just giving it that extra press to really melt through. From floor to ironing board, back to the sewing machine. Although we're going to be doing a blind stitch, which is also called an invisible stitch, I'm still going to use the ivory because it is going to be showing. I was so excited to learn this. You can do it with a normal foot. Oh, but was it easier when I bought my blind stitch foot? And because I had to keep coming back to it, so I've done this blind stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times so far. I was able to set it, load up the settings, and sew. Blind stitch from the front side, the right side, flip it over, and over one more time. And pull it open just a bit. And we're going to stitch there. So again, this is where you might want to use these. When I was learning the blind stitch, I set it up with the clamps all the way down and fed it through. Some people go beep, 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 beep.
Because they have digital dials.
That's not. It just depends. If you're interested, mine is an Austin Deluxe, which is amazing for just domestic use. A closer look at this foot. As I lower it down, you see the guide feeding that extra material in, and you can see that the extra layers and extra material on the left is controlled by this little foot it's like a ski. Should we go skiing? Let's go skiing. Okay. Catch, catch, catch. You want it just catching, and if I flip it over, that's your invisible stitch. At the end of every seam, what must we do?
Simmer more. Simmer it. Iron.
We must go and press it. So have a look how this has come out. So you see how it's tucking a little bit? That's what we're going to press. Because our curtains, they're not going to have a lining which would cover all of your interior joins. You need to choose a miter to corner to finish it off. Now, what I've made sure I've done is make sure the buckram is flush at the front and anything bulk is at the back. We've got a nice crisp line at the front. What I'm just going to do is fold that in to get that final pinch, press it and just tack that so it's secure for when you put your final hook in. Oh, I've done my corner, but many people would do it differently. But I think that's pretty nice. It gives a bit of strength to that very last return. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're now at the point where I'm going to work out the pleats and the spacers, but this amount of fabric has left me in the middle. 10 pleats are too small and 8 pleats are too big. I'm going to put my first 2 returns in. I'm putting them at 6 centimeters, knowing that I've got a bit of play on either side if needed. And then what I'm going to do, pleat spacer, pleat spacer, pleat spacer, pleat spacer into the middle and see where I end, and then just zhuzh them out a bit to get the right amount of pleats and the right size. Ready for the next bit? Let's keep going. This is the curtain marathon of the day. Can we make a curtain in one day? Now we have our return, pleat, spacer, pleat, spacer. Now we're going to go ahead and fix the pleat. 2-stage process. You are sewing your pleat in that your buckram is pushed in and this is pulled out. Otherwise, you're going to end up with something like that. So that is a really, really good tip, because this at the front is not fused, it's fused at the back. This part, you're going to sew all the way just to the bottom of the buckram. Align your pins, but also align the rest of your buckram nice and straight. When you then have the top of your pleat, your crown of your pleat will be like this. Really important to check. Okay, before you lower it down, buckaroo down, pin out, little bit of front and back. She's got to go in a straight line. Do you think that was straight? Reverse. So it's nice and strong. And you can chop it right off. Do not fold as you go along. Do not make the butterfly, because you won't, it's really hard to get in and out of your machine. When they're like this, they just pass along and they lie flat. If you've already made your butterfly, you can't check your next one's aligned. So keep them flat. Let's do the final 8. See you on the other side. Right, this stage is done, but there's a very nerve-wracking moment that we have to do now. Because regardless of the decorative bits we need to finish off, here is your curtain. And what do you need to find out? Does it actually cover the window? Come with me to find out. I hate this bit. I hate this bit. It doesn't look like it covers from here.
But we're not done, because we need to... Here.
What have you got? No, put that bit there on the recess. Okay. This is just all my curtains just
How
fit.
do you manage to always do just enough?
I mean, it's to the millimetre. It's to the millimetre, so it covers the draft. That's all we need.
And I need to go and stay.
Now let's make it pretty. Yes, somebody's cooking me dinner.
Hello, I'm here for my driving license.
Well, I can't offer you that, but you did just cook us a gorgeous meal, so now we're very sleepy. But you were missing a spoon. If you are still with us, let me tell you what we're going to use the spoon for. We are almost at the final stages of getting this curtain up. We've got our pleats, we've got our spacers. We just need to pop the flourish on. And actually, you can do the stud stitches on the machine. It was causing me more problems. 99% of people have shown that this is done by hand. I'm going to do it by hand. It's time to relax and take it slower. I'm going to do a couple, you'll get the idea. Double pinch pleat. Some people call it a butterfly pleat, which you can actually see why. How do we make them? What do I use this for? Now, we have to get in there and we have to press it down. If I just press on top, that's going to fold this in the wrong way. The pressure point is going to be at the wrong angle. I can't get my finger in all the way.
Well, it's about practicing.
So I use this to massage this down, manipulate it a little bit so it actually splits. It doesn't just split on one side, it splits down the center. All right, so I just use that to help. When you push this down, it's another thing that you want to make sure lies straight as possible. Before you press it all the way down, you want to make sure, look, that's naturally, can you tell what's wrong with it?
It's more to this side.
Yep, so when you lift it up, you're going to have one long one and one short one. You really need to make sure you push down level, so the middle needs to be at 3.5. That side up first and then your other side. But what you really want is that to be flush. Push it down, manipulate, massage a little bit the buckram, so it's holding it. I do pull it out a little bit at the top. Push it down in the center. Did you see me push that in? Push that down because you want to make sure you get the fabric and you really have that fabric bellowed. Find the bottom of the buckram, grip it really tight, and you're going to do a stud stitch. You want to get your needle right against that buckram, not right against the front, set back 1 millimeter or 2, but against the buckram. Go underneath. Don't pull all the way through. Catch it. Now at some point you do need to catch that with your fingers just to hold it. And until you're secure, you're going to go through and back, keeping it nice and tight. The tighter it is, the secure it is. Because what's holding at the back is that pleat. Yeah. Like I said, if this opens up, it's not the worst thing to fix over time. You're not done yet. There is one other thing to do per pleat. This tiny little join, which isn't the best example, and you will need your thimble for this, you're just going to keep this together. And I do a couple, a couple, a couple. So it's not hard or complicated, just time consuming because the last bits are done by hand. But put some music on, or good Netflix in the background.
Or realistic DIY YouTube videos.
Yep, but that is it. Get your wooden spoon, open it up. When this is flat, make sure it's in the middle. Bring them up straight together, manipulate it a little bit. Put your ruler in, make sure you see, you can't do your stud stitch with your fabric like that. Make sure your fabric is correct. Grab it right against the buckram, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And then just catch your join at the top on each one of them.
Let's do everything else and let's go hang them.
Yes.
Someone looks a bit tired.
Very tired. But I'm going to tell you, come hither, darling. Whoops, and the tablecloth too. It's time now to pop the hooks in. I still need this tiny little ruler. It goes everywhere with me. So for this type of pleat, you're going to need, if you can see it, this type of pinhook. Already decide how you want it to sit. Do you want to have a gap here, no gap here? I just wanted it to touch the bottom of the rings. I didn't want to see anything else. These are not the easiest to put in. Need a little bit of welly, 4 centimeters down, mark it, and then it goes in and up. But what you've got to make sure it doesn't pierce any of these sides. It's got to go on the inside. So I put my fingers here so I can feel where it's going. Some go in quite easy. If it's not going in easy, it's going the wrong way.
Hang on a minute. So all this stuff. What? I thought you were sewing a thread there or something. No?
Make sure that almost that almost pierced the front. Okay, so but it went in. I don't know if you noticed, much easier. So it's inside there. In and up. That's how it should go in. You want to go?
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
I did something in this project too.
You can steam them after if you want. Show off. Show off our.
I did put these up, didn't I?
Show off our new tefal. Tefal.
It's French, so I suppose it's tefal. Okay.
Oh, we need to measure that, don't we? Give me a sec.
Go in the middle.
Not too far. Nope, back a bit. That's as close as we're going to get it. How is it on your side?
Congratulations!
How is it?
She did it!
So, how is the coverage? I'm going to pop a weight at the bottom of each one of these just so they can hang for a week or two before we then hem all of our curtains. So this one will be about 5 to 7 centimeters, but they just need to drop a little bit first. Steam, weights. Okay. I'm going to hoover the living room and hand it back to Joris for the next step.
We just bought this, and no, not only it steams, but it's also that was stupid. I touched it. Not only it's steaming, but it's also sucking, so that you don't need to do it by hand. So you do this.
Well, that's quite a heavy one, so put it on.
Look at that. It's sucking. Well, not too much.
During winter, the sunset is at 4:30, and up till 10 o'clock during the summer, we won't be able to watch the TV. We need to, unfortunately, close the curtain on the sunset, but we didn't want to lose the glow. So we really looked for a linen mix curtain to be warm, but also to have that type of translucency, so the room will still glow. We won't close the sunlight, we will close the sun glare. It's so beautiful. If realistic DIYers can do it, you can do it.